It is the Orange and Blue Report presented by the UVA Health System. It's a scouting report this weekend. In Friday Night Lights at Scott Stadium. What more could you ask for, particularly when you've got the battle for #1 in the Coastal Division hanging in the balance? Yes, you heard it right. Virginia in the top 25.
Yes, sir.
First time in 7 years. Cavaliers leading the Coastal Division with a 4-1 record in conference play so far. They'll take on a Pitt team that comes in. Yeah, they're just 4-4. They played a really difficult schedule, but they're 3-1. Just a half game back of Virginia in the standings. Man, it doesn't get any better than this, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. You said today they played some tough teams, and they got through that stretch, and now they feel like they got some relief, but they run into the Virginia Cavaliers, who are also hot.
Yeah, call relief. Be careful where you throw that term around, because Virginia has not been giving the opponents a whole lot of relief of late. In fact, the Cavaliers have not trailed in any of the last 3 games. But today they go against, or should say in this matchup against Pitt, they're going against a team that ran for nearly 500 yards a week ago against Duke. Virginia hasn't allowed over 100 yards the last 2 weeks, allowing just over 2 yards per carry. Something's got to give.
Yeah, something's got to give. Strength versus strength. And as you said, the way Pitt ran the ball versus Duke, you would have thought that Georgia Tech was the team that did it. But Pitt ran downhill. They had big plays in the passing game off that running game also.
So let's dive into a little bit of what Virginia will be going up against. A lot of misdirection, some power running. This guy, Quadriolison, he's a problem.
Yeah, he definitely is. And the thing about Pitt is you look for them to come and be a smash mouth team, and they give you various formations, motions to get the linebackers' eyes moving. And as you can see, with that little motion, it opens up alleys. And, a linebacker's doing this assignment. You have one of the best backs in the ACC getting a big game right here.
So you better play disciplined defense any game, but particularly against a team that's running this much misdirection. But it's not just about the power game. This team has some speed. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. Here's Maurice French.
They definitely do. Maurice French is a guy who's a great returner as well. They soften you up going through the A-gaps, and then they get you on the edge, and this kid is explosive. So you have to just play, like you say, assignment football.
Now, we talked about setting the table for other plays. It's not just on the ground. Here's Kenny Pickett. He doesn't throw a lot, but when you've got a ground game like that, you better be careful.
Great thing about football, you got to be able to counter off your counters. You run the football and then you use a boot action. You drag whatever linebackers vacate, and at the end of the day, you got to make plays, and Frenchie again makes a play.
Yeah. Now, one of the guys we haven't seen yet, but we will figure to in this matchup. This is a guy who's a freshman, didn't play at any point prior to last week. So we have a little bit of tape on Valik Carter, but the freshman who was a defensive back to start the season, played his first game last week. He averaged nearly 20 yards a carry. How does he change things in terms of that speed?
Yeah, he changed the dynamic because he gets on the edge for Pitt, and once they soften you up by going with the A-gaps with their 2 capable backs of gaining a lot of yards in those A and B gaps, then they get you on the edge with those linebackers getting sucked in. And the thing about Pitt is you can't allow them to have the explosive plays, because those yard charging plays that they have is just sometimes it's a diversion just to get you to relax and think you got them figured out, and then boom, they hit you on the big explosive play on the outside.
Well, they put up a lot of points a week ago. They also gave up a lot of points. So Virginia, you look at the other side of the football. Now the Cavaliers have an opportunity for some big plays. You look at Bryce Perkins, you look at Olamide Zaccheaus against a very aggressive defense, not entirely unlike what Virginia saw against Ohio. We saw what happened in that game. Granted, you step up a weight class a little bit, but there could be some opportunities.
Yeah, Pitt is very similar to North Carolina from last week. They use their safeties to cover the slot. So Olamide Zaccheaus is one of our best receiver. A guy's going to be 10 yards off him. They don't want their linebackers covering at all. Linebackers stay home for the dual quarterback Perkins. So we have a lot of opportunities for Bryce Perkins and also Evan Butts. Don't be surprised if you see Slinky catching a couple of passes behind the linebackers this game.
Hey, man, the quarterback, you call him the Thorderback.
Yeah.
He looked like Thor. He had the hammer in his hands at the end of last game, breaking that rock. He'd like to do that again here. It's coming up soon, but Virginia's got to get the win. So, again, this is a game that starts 7:30 Friday night. We hope to see you there. We will be hitting the airwaves at 6:30 across the Virginia Sports Radio Network. For the Ball Hawk, Ahmad Hawkins, I'm Dave Kane. We will see you at Scott Stadium tonight.